Welcome back. Social distancing has us all feeling a little different these days, including children. Of course, they also see and hear the news and can experience the same frustrations and emotions that we do.
So what's the best way to talk to them about COVID-19? And here with some helpful tips is Dr. Kelly Bunnier, who's a pediatric psychologist at Texas Children's Hospital. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We do appreciate it. And I know so many of us are on information overload, and that includes our kids. Can you start off with maybe some of the signs that our kids are dealing with the information overload as well?
Absolutely. I'll say there's a lot of information out there, and one thing we as parents should be aware about is how much information our children are getting. And so I know, we are wanting to be aware, but there's lots of facts and misinformation out there, and the more information that kids hear sometimes can lead to amounts of stress. So I think about trying to limit the amount of conversations that are happening, the amount of time that kids are being exposed to the news or to different sources where they're hearing a lot about COVID-19. And of course, there are things to look for as well in terms of I would say one thing is that these are stressful times, and I'll say the word as a whole is more stressed and anxious than usual. So it makes sense for kids to be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. So, during these weeks, I would absolutely expect that some children might be getting upset more easily, might be crying more easily. Young kids might be having temper tantrums or might be a little more usual, and that this would be expected. Other children also might be acting as they always do, and that would be perfectly fine as well. Things to look out for if children are feeling overwhelmed is if you see any drastic changes in their behavior. So, for example, if children have very long periods of crying uncontrollably and they can't be consoled, or if children are so worried about getting sick that they're washing their hands so frequently that they're starting to bleed, or if children seem really depressed, those could be signs that they're kind of having more difficulty with this information.
And is it our responsibility, doctor, as parents, should we be starting this conversation about COVID-19? I mean, at what point do we bring this up to our child, or do we? How do we start that conversation, and when?
That's a really great question. And I will say even young children, preschoolers and toddlers, are hearing about this, so I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's when. And a really good thing to start out with would be to ask your children, what do you know? Oh, have you heard about COVID-19? What do you know about it? That way we as parents can hear the information that our children have, and we can know if it's factual or not factual. When we're giving information to our kids, we want to think about keeping a couple of things in mind. For example, keeping the information factual, so we want to give just the facts. We also want to give it in a developmentally appropriate way. So the conversations that parents are having with their 5-year-olds should look very different than the conversations they're having with their 15-year-olds. And we want to answer questions that children have, but we also don't want to send the message that this is something that children need to be excessively worried about. So if we spend lots and lots of time every day having frequent conversations about it, even if what we're saying is reassuring, it's sending the message that this is a really big deal and it's something they need to be stressed about because we're spending so much time talking about it. So I would caution parents to err more on the side of giving the facts, but keeping it short and sweet.
That's all great advice, too. And I will say, too, I think when you take a child, no matter the age, and they're out of their daily routine, right? So the routine of going to school. Now, perhaps mom and dad are both home, working from home. So the family dynamic is changing quite a bit, which is taking their routine, despite about what they're hearing about. Life as they know it is different. And for some kids, taking them out of the routine throws them off anyway. So what about coping skills when everybody's under one roof? I feel like everybody's kind of more heightened awareness. Everybody's kind of working with less fuses right now.
Absolutely. And there are several different coping skills to think about. Just as you were talking about with the routine, one thing that parents can do that is extremely important is setting up some kind of consistency. So while the routine isn't going to be the same that it was on typical school days when children were leaving the home, we can put a consistent routine in place. So what that means is getting up around the same time every day, even though children may be staying home, making sure they're getting dressed in the morning, eating meals around the same time, and trying to set up a schedule. Here are the times when we're doing our academic activities. Here are the times when we're going out outside. As much consistency as possible is going to be important. On top of that, there are extra coping skills. So things to think about would be doing fun and distracting activities with children, such as playing games, reading books, listening to music, things that are soothing and relaxing. That might be playing with animals, cuddling with a stuffed animal, taking a bath or a shower.
Try to keep it positive.
We also want to think, I'm sorry?
To try to keep it positive, Dr. Kelly Benier, sorry, we got to leave the conversation there for today. We so appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you so much for joining us. And a reminder that Texas Children's Hospital will be with us all week to answer your questions. So visit our Facebook page to submit your questions.
Timely conversation. And for more information on Texas Children's Hospital, you can go online, texaschildrenscoronavirus.org.